And if you don't, we're going to have you thrown out of office. That's a mafia power, a hardcore power that's hard to deal with. It's over the top. Just like they're now announcing that Obama does intend to bring massive Ebola patients into the United States for treatment here and obvious exposure and spreading it. People say that makes no sense. It's a campaign killer. He doesn't care. He's a lame duck. It's about bringing the country down. Meanwhile, Australia has now joined many European countries, many Arab countries, Middle Eastern countries, and every other African country. Australia issues blanket visa ban on Ebola-hit countries. Reuters, Sydney, Australia came under fire. Oh, under fire. Oh, my goodness. Tuesday for health experts and rights advocates after it issued a blanket ban on visas from West African nations affected by Ebola outbreak, making it the first rich nation to shut its doors to the region. That's not true. They've been banning flights and visas and not issuing the visas. So, see, this is how Reuters goes. And they closed the hatch on the submarine before they submerged, or they saw their neighbor's house on fire and they called the fire department. Oh, they're so discredited. Ted Cruz said Obamacare would raise your premiums and add death panels. He's been proven totally right. He's so discredited. Alex Jones predicted airborne Ebola in Rolling Stone in 2011. He's a kook. Alex Jones said 2 + 2 = 4. Isn't that funny? See, it's this mind game they play where, oh my gosh, Australia isn't going to let people in out of these 5 countries. They're banning visas from them. Meanwhile, Fox News reports lawmaker claims plans may be in the pipeline to bring non-citizens to the U.S. for Ebola treatment. A top Republican congressman claims the Obama administration is exploring plans to bring non-U.S. citizens infected with Ebola to the United States for treatment. Representative Bob Goodlatte, Republican Virginia, chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, told Fox News that his office had received information from within the administration, close quote, that these plans are being developed. So far, only American Ebola patients have been brought back. In the past, you didn't do that, to the U.S. for treatment from the disease epicenter in West Africa. Goodlatte warned that expanding the policy could put the country at more risk. Really? Next, the headline will be, Congressman discredited. Of course we need to bring Ebola in. Remember last week, Joe Biggs, or 2 weeks ago, this is a week and a half ago to be technical. I should just say recently. Recently, Joe Biggs went out in Austin. They talked to 30 people at UT on the street, University of Texas. 17 said bring Ebola patients in from African countries who aren't even citizens. And what was it? 7 or 8 of them said they wanted to house them in their own homes and read stories to them and take them to UT football games. In fact, it was October 17th, so a little less than 2 weeks ago. Students signed a petition to bring Ebola into U.S. And Biggs talks to a nursing student. She's like, oh, absolutely, it's racist. Bring them in. That's right. Bring in unlimited people to have their babies for free. Nobody else does that. Mexico doesn't do that. Let felons come in and stay. Don't even deport them if they're a felon. Oh, you're a rapist? You're a drug dealer? Sure, stay. And then have no refusal, federally funded, rights-violating checkpoints where they take people's blood with these rubber stamp warrants that have been proven to be frauds. But in some areas, they don't even do warrants. They just take your blood in Arizona and Colorado. That's the first place it started a decade ago federally. Now it's happening here in Austin the last 5 years. And, you know, Asa Veda sits in here getting his federal grants all day saying it's for the greater good, the greater safety. You can sit outside bars and see drunks drive off and see them run over the line. You have probable cause, pull them over. And I want them off the streets. I've been driving home several times and seen somebody swerving side to side, clearly drunk. I call 911 on them. I called 911 when I was driving to San Antonio to give a speech about a month ago. This person was obviously drunk out of their mind. I looked at them. They almost hit me twice. They were swerving all over the road. They started driving about 100 miles an hour. I called 911. I didn't see cops pulling them over. Probably couldn't catch them or whatever. I mean, I don't want people that are hardcore drunk out there, you know, driving around. But this is all about money generation, all about power grabs. And we've got some good news on that front that I'll get back into Ebola in detail. Sheriff's office refuses to participate in future blood draw checkpoints. Backlash prompted by InfoWars story. And they show that on the news. Controversial, no refusal, DUI stop. That's up on Infowars.com. We're going to cover this local story out of Ohio because it shows the power of the people. There were spontaneous demonstrations. Story. This is Hillary Clinton basically saying what Obama said a few years ago, that if you have a business, you didn't build that, somebody else did it. And see, they have to wage war against reality because what they're doing is so obviously corrupt and destructive, and the fruits of it are degradation, poverty, injustice, corruption, you name it. So Hillary Clinton, businesses don't create jobs. That's why socialist and communist systems are such hellholes, because the government creates the jobs. And you don't have the free choice to shop where you want or open the business you want. It's so fundamental what they're doing. It's so over-the-top evil, but they got to break the ice and say your kids don't belong to you. They got to break the ice and say your house doesn't belong to you. It's not enough to pay property tax on this rent. She's got to get up there with her freaky constituents, what a cult of fruits, and say businesses don't create jobs. Yes, individual risk, going out in the economy is the engine of it. Everyone knows that. But they've got to assault it because they are against reality. And it's got to fall for them to rise. We've got to implode so they can build on its ashes their hellhole. Where Obama goes to Africa and says, you can't have air conditioning or you can't have a car. What? Why didn't he say we can innovate and create clean cars and better air conditioning? No, it's just, you just can't have it. Live in a shack. I'm going to fly off now on this high-tech jumbo jet. They are fundamentally the scum of the earth while saying they want to give you prosperity when their own manuals say they want you bankrupt. The first 50 years of the income tax, they didn't even tax poor people, folks. Obama raised taxes on poor people. I want to throw up. Let's go to the Hillary clip. Here it is.
Don't let anybody tell you that, you know, it's corporations and businesses that create jobs.
Ugh.
You know, that old theory, trickle-down economics. That has been tried. That has failed.
As if trickle-down economics is the definition of a business, too. Just that term where they had huge tax cuts for giant corporations that turned their back on the U.S. and moved to China with the tax cuts. And now they're just completely gone. But see, they'll always call something that isn't capitalism, capitalism to put it down. They don't go up against the real thing. They build a straw man. They don't beat up Mike Tyson in a heavyweight fight in 1989 when he was at his peak. They go and build a straw man that's just made of sticks and straw and beat it up and say, I just defeated Mike Tyson, heavyweight champion of the world. That's what they do. They play mind games. They sit there and they define things for everybody. Now, here's some good news on these unconstitutional, federally funded. That's why these are so bad. Is they've got local police all over the country running these checkpoints, and then when you turn off them or you don't want to be searched, then, oh, we're going to take you in and take your blood. But you can't have the prior stop, the Supreme Court's ruled, to then try to see someone evade something so you then have probable cause. You've got to get it on your own. And if they want to stop drunk drivers, folks, I could go out on Friday night and drive around with a cell phone and call 911 15 times. I can find drunks everywhere. They just want to mill everybody. Oh, you had one beer? You had two beers? We're going to ruin your life now. But, oh, my goodness, we're not going to take the illegal to jail. Let's go to part of this newscast, WHIO.
No refusal checkpoints are nothing new. Montgomery County had one on Wayne Avenue Friday as well. But when a libertarian radio host blogged about the one in Clark County, it got a lot of attention, drawing protesters from around the state who believe these no refusal checkpoints are unlawful search and seizures.
It's a Fourth Amendment problem, very much so.
And if this is not a positive event, then we need to find another way to do our job create an environment of public safety, and I'm intending to do that.
That's Sheriff Gene Kelly. Great. So he's not going to participate. Other counties are looking at not participating and getting the federal money. That's what it's about. Asset forfeiture seizure. The feds pass laws that the states can't do it, so that only the feds can do it, and then they give like 75 to 85 or more, depends on the case, back to the cops directly in their cop shop, incentivizing cops going out and taking money from people that have done nothing wrong. Now the IRS is shaking down business owners, taking their bank accounts with no proof of fraud. This is illegal, but if they set the precedent, they'll go, no, it's not. We have to say no to this. This is the camel's nose under the tent flap, but now the camel is inside. Stay with us. We got something special coming up.
We're on the mark.